walk onto people. I think center ult is pretty okay for that in that sense as well. So as well as you need an offlaner and maybe the most comfortable with the centaur. I think it's okay in this composition though.
And it's, I mean, if you can stampede during the wombo combo with Ajax, it's incredible. And you can just tank the Witch Doctor ult and the Requiem and the wall and just not care.
OD, you're our Yellow Submarine expert. They have one pick left. They might need that core carry kind of a position. What's tickling your pickle right now?
I'm trying to think back to what I've seen them do before. I've actually, as you said, I've seen a lot of Yellow Submarine. They're in the Dream League. We actually were knocked out by them in the first round of Open Qualifiers.
Congratulations.
When the team went for it. So
what an honor.
You know, when they win TI, I expect a share for helping them with that little boost to start. But the heroes that they picked, I believe it's Miposhka who's the position one, and Barash who's normally on the mid lane who'll take the Shadow Fiend. They've picked some weird stuff before. Like I've seen them pick the Ember Spirit in the safe lane, which has always been a nice bit of fun. Could add to the wombo combo. I've also seen them run the Chaos Knight as well, and a couple of times where they pick it even though they don't have the IO, they still kind of rate that hero on its own. So maybe we'll see the Chaos Knight come out from the side. But as we were saying, I do like what HellRaisers
They did some research.
They have. Miposhka Ember Spirit is banned, and well, as I said, it would have worked very nicely with the Darkseer and Shadow Fiend. But at the same time, I think Yellow Submarine are going to be very happy that they did get that Barash Shadow Fiend and Dale Darkseer, because that stuff's scary. These guys are the ones to watch on these heroes. They've been doing some great stuff. And they're going to finish it off with the Viper, interestingly enough, which I'd imagine will be that safe lane Viper here.
I was going to say that when you were mentioning the Chaos Knight, I do not think it's actually a very good pick here for them. Just because Tiny, as soon as he gets his axe, or even his passive, just is so good against melee heroes that I do not think it would have been a great pick here.
What do you think about the Viper?
The Viper is a pretty good counter pick towards the Tiny, because as soon as you get the ultimate onto the Tiny, Tiny pretty much doesn't hit anymore.
Why? He has overcharge.
But it's still not that great.
It's not that great. Okay.
Other than that, though, on the side of Viper, I'm not a Viper fan. Period.
Is anyone really?
I just don't like the hero too much, because once you fall behind, you're gonna have a terrible game, and if it's not the case, then your game is just, to me, it's just always mediocre. Like Viper never is like this super shiny hero. You just sit on your lane, you potentially farm your mech, and then you hope to push together.
That's a core centaur right there, gentlemen. That's an Artez manly man centaur right there. He washes himself with a pine cone. That's how manly he is. They're going to finish out that lineup with the Phoenix. How are we feeling about the HellRaisers lineup now?
I do like it a lot. I think you just have a Tiny Wisp combo, most likely middle. Then you have a Centaur Bane short lane. Bane Centaur is very scary. One sleep is almost always a kill. If one Centaur hits like level 2, level 3, you pretty much have a kill on the target. Especially against the Darkseer as well. Like, Darkseer can't really sit on the offlane at all. He has no time to search. He will die in one combo.
I like it. I like it more too. I mean, and Viper, he's generally pretty good, but they have overcharge for the Viper Strike. They also have Stampede. He might dominate the Centaur in lane. I have seen that before, but don't skill return, firstly. I remember, whatchamacallit, Toby always talks about how you skill the Shadow Strike versus Viper as Queen of Pain. He always talks about it, but you can't get those. I remember one matchup, it was like Viper versus Centaur skill return, and he just owned himself every single time.
Oh.
Right.
Yeah, it makes sense.
But anyways, I mean, both of these have pretty solid lines. As you said, the Shadow Fiend, Darkseer clearly a stable for them, and very comfortable picks, and nice AoE to deal with the Wisp.
All right, so game underway here. Oh, jeez, I can't even give you guys the go. We're going to have action right away.
Oh, as it goes flying through, now the telekinesis onto Dread. It looks like this could be the first blood. This is going to be a defensive nightmare by the Phoenix and Dom, but it doesn't matter. Dale finding first blood. There's a massive hoofstorm onto 3 of them. Yellow Submarine, they're going to lose Barash here. It's a 1-for-1 trade, but now Viper here with the Iron Shell chasing down Gretz. They'll find themselves a second kill. It's 2-for-1, and now Dale and Miposhka, they're trying to find out for Ninja. He's been helped out a little bit by Gotham, but it's not enough. They lose to Tiny, and now with the cast price, can they chase this one down? They're trying to get themselves in range here. PSM, he's looking for the telekinesis. He's closing on as the eye. Gotham trying to get himself up to the high ground. Can they catch him out? They're going to look to chase this one. They're going to keep going. They're still going for it. PSM now turning his attention towards the mid lane. Maybe see if they can catch out Gretz. Well, they don't know where to go here. Yellow Submarine, what are they going to look for? They found Gretz, but they want to try and dive. This one is a little bit risky. Gretz coming up. He wants to try and find the Nightmare. Both teams, they're desperate for fighting. They're hungry for action. He will get the Nightmare to PSM, but he's toggled off by Furby into the low ground. And now Dreddy's trying to come in here with the Spirit. Furby's in a lot of trouble because Avalanche comes out. out. They'll probably find the Witch Doctor, and they do. There's a telekinesis and the cast holding back the side of HellRaisers. Now they're trying to chase down more. They're looking for PSM. Can they do it up to the high ground? Dale here with the Iron Shell. He's going to turn around and he's going to go straight for goddamn trying to bring him down here. But now he's caught between all four of the side of HellRaisers. Dread trying to bite himself through the trees. He's being chased down by Imposture and Dale here. Oh, now there's the Avalanche onto two, holding back the Darkseer, holding back the Viper. Now we get the Hell's Goretz. Maybe the side of Yellow Submarine we can find him. And suddenly, Furby has turned back up to the fight. He's managed to corner off Goretz. Goretz is stuck off with the rest of his team. They will lose the Bane here on the side of HellRaisers. It's 4-2 for Yellow Submarine. And, well,
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Yellow Submarine, taking against HellRaisers. Okay, with that said, obviously Odie Pixel is going to be your point caster. Joining us is going to be Ben Merlini-Wu. Holy crap, this is going to be one hell of a show. Gentlemen, please, it's your honor. Have at it.
Viper actually ran out of mana. How ridiculous is that? And, I mean, Yellow Submarine, they have incredible synergy. Just see from that play that they move together as a unit. No one backs off and then turns around. They're like, they fully commit to it. A very low HP Darkseer walks uphill. He's not scared. He knows his team will back him up. And just incredible synergy already from the minus 45 seconds.
It was very impressive stuff. I mean, what went wrong there for HellRaisers? Should they have said at a point, right, we've got to stop this. Our level 1 team fight isn't as good as them.
Well, Tether's pretty useless. Yeah. Nightmare is also pretty useless. Centaur is mediocre, but their spell cooldowns are really long. Hoofstomp as well as the Avalanche. And then you have this Viper who's on the opposite side, just like right in the middle of them with an Ion Shell, as well as a Darkseer. And I assume Darkseer has a Stout, so both these targets are like very tanky targets who are just dishing out a lot of damage. And I mean, Ion Shell doesn't do that much damage at level 1, but when you're hitting like 2 or 3 heroes, and you multiply that by 2, because 2 heroes are Ion Shelled, it definitely adds up. And on top of that, the coconuts from old Witch Doctor.
I might catch out Miposhka here. He's got a point in Corrosive Skin. It's not going to be enough to save him from the burst damage there. Artez and Goretz do take him down. And off the back of that, I think it's interesting to talk about the lane decision from Yellow Submarine. So you've got Viper on the solo off lane, and at the moment, Rubik hanging around the bottom with the Darkseer on the safe lane. What's up with this?
Well,
oh, he's doing the pull, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. I don't think either hero can really survive that offlane, and Darkseer or Viper. I mean, Viper was already level 2 when he got there, right, with the Corrosive Skin.
It was, yeah,
okay, so with the dual lane, yeah, it should be
safer.
This is much safer. I mean, Viper's not that bad of a matchup versus Phoenix, because you can just corrosive versus the damage over time and just kind of own him. But at the same time, Darkseer will be able to utilize the jungle, I think, a lot more effectively in this lane. But it was a very smart decision for them to just put 2 heroes. If they put 0 or 1, I don't think it's very good.
I think they're trying to go for it, but again, Fervian is there with the Nightmare toggle. I mean, obviously now against this aggressive dual lane, how does Bane kind of stand as a solo lane support?
Not that great, because he doesn't actually offer that much damage, I say, until level 3. His level 1 Brain Sap has been buffed, I think, in the most recent patch with lower mana, but at the same time, oh, he is level 3 already, so that's pretty good. I think they resealed it, but it's a lot of pure damage. But on top of that, Viper is just not that great of a target because of that corrosive. And then they have the heal as well as the coconuts, and he has to get into melee range to Hoofstomp.
Okay, and looking at the mid lane at the moment, obviously Barash did have a little bit of a helping hand at the start when we saw Witch Doctor end up here, but he's still doing pretty well here now with Rubik hanging around. I guess at the moment, is this the best place for the Rubik to be, as he's not needed bottom with the Darkseer?
Well, they play a lot differently. A lot of teams, they try to make their strongest lanes stronger, but instead they're making their weak lanes even, which is, you know, instead of trying to, let's say, win 1, lose 1, and then wash 1, they try and at least break even in all 3, and they're confident that they can outplay their opponent in these sort of lanes. That's actually what I like to see from teams, and just try and contest all 3. And, you know, if you're more skilled and it's a 3 supposedly even lanes, then you can outskill them and then win all 3 lanes, which is much better, obviously, than one win, 1 wash, 1 loss.
They're just going to search itself away from Goddamn on the IA, and I'm going to spot the fact that there's at least 1 stack coming out from the side of Yellow Submarine. Top lane here with the telekinesis pulling back Artez. There was going to be a TPM, but it was cancelled in the end. Looks like they didn't feel that they could get that kill, the Yellow Submarine.
And, you know, they devote a lot of resources to these 2 lanes. Sentry on top, taking out the D ward, with the Observer ward in mid very, very early to ensure Shadow Fiend has an early farm. Another Sentry to guarantee their lanes there. All about winning the lanes that most teams would sacrifice.
Oh, and they found a kill! Yellow Submarine! Double kill for the Viper suddenly on the top lane. And from what I can see from the PSM with the place,
he's a dirty hero. He's very difficult to deal with when you have there's just unexpected like usually when you have a hero, it's like, okay, we can do this amount of damage, 75% magic resistance, we can burst them down. But against a Viper, you can't really right-click chase down like you normally would with a support. You also, you know, have to bring out your calculator because of the magic resistance. You don't know whether he has level 1, level 2 corrosive, and then again you have the voodoo heal, voodoo restoration from the Witch Doctor. So it just messes with the math a lot, and that's why you'll see a lot of
Avalanche here onto Fervina with the toss back as well. Witch Doctor's in a bit of trouble. Has got the Voodoo Restoration. It's not enough there. Nice bit of action there going for the side of HellRaisers, bringing it to 6-4 by the moment. 10 minutes in. Sorry, 5 minutes in and 10 kills. There's a lot of action this game.
Does that see the Observer?
Ooh, just unlucky there. Unlucky there for HellRaisers. But Ben, so far looking at this game, is this a brilliant start for Yellow Submarine, or is it not that big of an advantage at this point? HellRaisers still going to be very happy?
It's really good because they're forcing HellRaiser to do all these things that they normally wouldn't. Like, they already had to put the Bane in the mid. Usually Tiny Wisp is a self-sufficient lane. They've had to have the support constantly try and deal with this Viper in the top lane. Now Yellow Submarine has that advantage because the support left. Now they're able to pull. So they're making HellRaisers make all these difficult decisions that you normally wouldn't have to. I think HellRaisers is responding to it very, very well, but at the same time, there are a lot more potentials to mess up when this amount of pressure is on you in the first 6 minutes of the game. We already have 10 kills.
Indeed. I mean, I kind of feel the issue here at the moment is as well, obviously the fact that Bane came to the mid lane, leaving the Centaur alone against both the Viper and the Rubik. It's the fact that Artez, he's losing out CS here now. He's 17-3 against the 25-7 on the Viper, and I guess the reason why you run a core Centaur is to get that early Blink Dagger time, and you're not going to find that on your own against a Viper.
Yeah, he'll still be useful for Stampede. At least he's level 6, so it's not the worst thing in the world. And yeah, they can come back later with it, but that's definitely, I think, a lane that most teams would look at and be like, okay, we're just going to sack it because it's a really strong dual lane. So I really like Yellow Submarine's response, and it's definitely paying off. This is not what HellRaisers expected in the early game. You expect, you know, safe lane try with Viper, off lane Darkseer, and then the two supports maybe ganking now and then, probably sitting behind Shadow Fiend, usually stacking, and their playstyle is completely different, and I can definitely see why they went 2-0 earlier.
It's impressive starters so far from the side of Yellow Submarines, and obviously the fact that they did come from the open qualifiers. A lot of people probably wasn't going to be expected to see a lot from them, but it's still early days, and on mid lane we're going to see Affinage turn around here with an Avalanche and a toss back onto Brash. Now he's trying to clear out Affinage here with the Razors. Affinage still trying to go with his punches. Now he just turns around, pops the 6 charges with the Voodoo Restoration. It's not going to be enough. They do lose the Shadow Fiend, and HellRaisers, they might be able to find the Witch Doctor as well with the Stampede. The Witch Doctor will go down to a double kill, and at the same time on the top lane, this is great for HellRaisers. They might find themselves a third kill here, and they will do indeed as they bring down the Viper. And you're talking about how effective the Centaur can be with that Stampede just in level 6 and making a lot of things happen there globally.
Yeah, 3. I mean, Shadow Fiend just manned up. He got tossed, and instead of running back, he's just like, screw you, I'm going to race. He actually whiffed a worry ace there, but even then it wouldn't have mattered on the Wisp. But, I mean, nice plays by HR all around. Now they devote 3 to top, 2 to mid, and just let the Darkseer farm so they can win 2 of the 3. So I like what they're doing with this. Centaur, he's pretty much coasting to his blink after that. After that bout in the top lane. Oh, he's going Vanguard or Pipe. Interesting.
You're not too happy with that one?
I mean, if you need an item to help you win the lane, then that's fine. But generally, you already have Tranquils, so that should be enough. It just delays your blink so much, and you want that blink ASAP, so you can blink, stop, and then relocate and get an easy kill on a high priority target like a Shadow Fiend, even a Darkseer. Or Viper would be pretty good for them. But the longer you wait for that blink, what are you going to initiate with? Like, Phoenix is not the greatest relocate partner. Bane is mediocre without a blink. And I mean, that's pretty much it.
Oh, this is very nice. HellRaisers obviously just went down to pop 2 very aggressive dire wards out, but Yellow Submarine, they smoke outside of the range of the ward, and now they go straight under it. So HellRaisers are going to feel safer than they should be because they don't know this is coming. PSM with the telekinesis onto Alpha Ninja. Do they have the burst damage to bring down this Tiny? No, he's going to be able to turn around and get out the Avalanche, but in fact, the Gret's Nightmare onto Shadow Fiend allowed him to avoid the damage from that initial Avalanche burst, and Yellow Submarine, they'll try and ward this one off. They might lose further in here, and they will do indeed as a toss comes through from Alpha Ninja on the Tiny. They do find a kill there, but a little bit of a mess. And I mean, again, we are seeing the use of Stampede definitely helping out the side of the Dire here.
Wow, that was a 4-on-3. That was huge for HellRaisers, and they weren't even that prepared for it. We saw the TP come out immediately, but yeah, that was great. And as you said, they misfired a little bit there. Tiny probably should have died.
Now we're going to see Darks here. He's going to head up to this top lane, and I guess obviously they realise the fact that Centaur is here on his own, and Dale should be able to find a lot of farm here without being too disrupted. And we can see at the top of the board at the moment, 54 CS on this Darks here. So Dale having a very good game. Aposhka just going as aggressive as he can here onto Dread, trying to harass back the Phoenix. But there's going to be a wraparound here from HellRaisers as we see them move straight into the Radiant Jungle smoked up. You've got Goretz, Goddamn, and Alpha Ninja leading the way here. They're going to go towards the mid lane at the moment. Both Fervian and Barash are hanging around.
Notice they went the long way around. They wanted to look for stacks first, and there's no stacks for them to work with. If they wanted to just kill mid, they wouldn't have gone up that hill.
Okay.
And trying to do some economic damage.
And Maposhka's got 3 points in the Corrosive Skin. Trez and Aquila, is it going to be enough to save him from this burst damage? It doesn't look like it. He's going to go down here, trying to get out the Viper Strike, but wasn't able to. And now, well, Icarus dive forward. There's going to be a paralyzing cast coming out onto Dread, but Dread, he's just going to chase this one down. And with 4 members of the side of HellRaisers, there's nothing that Fervian can do to stop that. And that's going to be a double kill there for Tiny on the bottom lane.
I did not like the positioning from Viper. They were smoked for a long time. They smoked from mid, they went bottom, they wrapped around the mid, they waited around a little bit, they checked for a stack, and that's like 30 seconds, and then your spidey senses go.
Oh, this is nice in the mid lane. They're trying to go on Artez. Obviously, PSM had the Avalanche stolen. Wasn't quite enough, though, to bring him down, even with that final Fade Bolt. The stick charges and the Vanguard paying off. And now with a relocation in from Goddamn, he says he's in for the solo kill, and he'll find it there. Picks off the Rubik on the back of that fight.
So who's actually going mech here? We see Shadow Fiend going for a Buckler. He went Arcane. I guess he's a Blink Rush for him. And, I mean, they have 3 mech carriers, in theory.
Yeah, they do indeed, yeah, with the Viper as well. We'll see who goes for it. Well, top lane, Dell still applying the pressure here. There's going to be a TP back from Goretz. And at the moment, net worth, it feels fairly even. And now the fact that HellRaisers is 11-6, arguably Yellow Submarine giving away a little bit of what they started with. And well, now on the bottom lane, they're going to try and find out for Ninja here. He has got the toss stolen. Now with the paralyzing cast coming out to Tiny, he's going to be backed up here by Goddamn, trying to heal him back up. And Alpha Ninja, he just wants to go straight in. He wants to try and find some kills for himself. He'll be able to bring down PSM, and maybe they can find Fervian as well, chasing down the Witch Doctor. He will get the cast out, but the bounce is... No, he didn't actually get the cast out. He was already dead. Double kill there for Alpha Ninja. And, I mean, this is looking a little bit rocky for the side of Yellow Submarine. Pun not intended there for Tiny, but 13-6 now, and a lot of these kills are going the way of the Tiny IO combo, which isn't great.
Especially now that he has a Blink Dagger, so... I mean...
Well, Goretz, he's going to nightmare himself here, but the Viper ticks through that, and he will go down. So they do find a trade, but still, at the moment, HellRaisers, they've stepped up the tempo of this game, man. And it looks like it's a little bit too much for Yellow Submarine at the time being. And look, Alpha Ninja wants to go for more, blinking straight in with the Avalanche and toss onto Barash. There's a Phoenix here as well. There's nowhere for the Shadow Fiend to run. And you can tell HellRaisers have done this Tiny IO thing before, because it's pretty much textbook. Tiny's 9 for 1 so far, and 2 assists, and we're just 12.5 minutes to
Yeah, you don't need a Centaur blink if you have a Tiny blink.
I think they find more as well. They've got a Stampede to set this one up. Miposhka's been caught all out. Now with the toss, the Avalanche, the Stampede, everything being thrown. This is a godlike streak for Tiny. And HellRaisers, they might not have had the best start to this game, but they're showing Yellow Submarine there. Oh, PSM, he was hanging around here. Maybe they can find some return kills, and they do, in fact. They bring down the Tiny, and they will get the IO. So a nice reaction there from Yellow Submarine, making the best of a bad situation and, you know, shutting down the Tiny IO combo. And who, in fact, did the godlike gold go?
Witch Doctor.
Witch Doctor. That's nice for the Aghanim's, if he wants to. But, I mean, at the moment, this is pretty action-packed game, Ben. And, I mean, is it favouring the side of HellRaisers with the kind of lineup they have? Are they kind of built to fight more than Yellow Submarine?
Well, a lot of they're definitely better built to gank, for sure, right? Like Viper can't really gank that much. Darkseer, mediocre at getting solo kills. So HellRaisers have just much better solo kill potential, which is why it's looking so grim for Yellow Submarine. But once Yellow Submarine gather up with a mech, you know, we see the cloak on Darkseer. They're going a lot of team fight items, and once they get like vacuum walled into a Requiem with like coconuts into a Death Ward, you know, that's going to be really devastating. And, you know, especially if they can kill like the egg in the team fight, it's going to be massive. So we haven't really seen the full strength of Yellow Submarine's lineup, and it's looking a little bit grim. So they just have to change their play style, which means sitting behind targets they think they're going to get relocated on, not farm out as aggressively, and try and kill the Wisp ASAP. Because going for the Tiny, like we saw bottom, 2 heroes went for Tiny. He was at like 400 HP, and he managed to live and get a double kill. So they can't underestimate Stampede. They have to somehow kite the Tiny, go for the Wisp, and try and combo them with vacuum wall. So
smoke on smoke here. There's 3 members on the side of HellRaisers down here, but they of course do have that relocator available to make it a full 5-on-5. Who's going to get the jump on who here? Artez looking for the wraparound, has a double damage rune here as well. Yellow Submarine, they can go straight past, and looks like this is... Are they going to be aware of this one? No, the smoke has been finished on the side of HellRaisers. And
Artez just needs to wait up the hill. They have good vision. During nighttime, if you have a Reservoir Ward and you're on high ground, you're in a great spot. Ideally, they'd have a sentry, but...
Oh, the HellRaisers, they're stampeding out. They're questioning whether they want to fight into this one. Now Artez does go in, but he's been hit down on by Barash, and now they will find the Centaur kills first one out, but now Tiny Io come in. There's going to be a vacuum and a very nicely placed wall here, trapping all three of them, and now Miposhka, he's just trying to go to work. Dread did get out to the Supernova, but he was just on the edge of the fight. Didn't actually manage to achieve that much. He's a 2 for 2 so far. Do the side of HellRaisers lose any more? Do the Yellow Submarine lose anything? Dread's going to just summary himself up to the high ground. Looks like he will be okay for the time being, just simply TPing out, but 2 for 2 there. And I've got to say, Yellow Submarines dealt with that quite well. I mean, HellRaisers, they had the Tiny Eye coming in, but Afro Ninja, he seemed a little bit scared about that one. He didn't seem to fully commit himself.
I think the Centaur actually didn't fully commit. He had a 4-man stun, but that's what you get for not finding under a Observer Ward. The smoke pops, or sorry, he sees like one hero and he doesn't see the 3 behind him. If he just stampedes and blink stomps on 4 immediately and they get to relocate like close to the Dire Ancients, then they just completely wreck HellRaisers, or sorry, they completely wreck Yellow Submarine that fight. But because he hesitated, they were actually able to steal the Stampede and he didn't get an ideal initiation off. So it could have been so much better for HellRaisers that fight.
I mean, at the same, so now we've got the mech finished on the Shadow Fiend. Witch Doctor, of course, working towards that Aghanims. And Dale, I guess, does he just go for the fully fledged pipe now as his next item?
Pipe's pretty good.
Yeah.
They don't have that much physical until Tiny gets his items, but he went Blink Dagger first, so his right click is going to be pretty paltry.
Look at this Yellow Submarine. They're hungry for action. They're going to smoke up straight away. There's going to be Haste Rune that is going to be bottled up here by Goddamn. They've got a Surge here. They're trying to get him with the Telekinesis. The vacuum into Telekinesis. Very nice there from Yellow Submarine. Allow them to catch out Io. They're going to look for Roshan here now.
What's the cooldown on Phoenix Egg? They need that to fight, and I don't know if they can fight without it. 12 seconds.
Yeah, did they get away with this Yellow Submarine?
With Phoenix ult being that low, I don't think so.
Well, let's see. We're seeing Phoenix throwing the old spirits. He's on the high ground.
Oh, he doesn't have enough mana. Oh, no.
They do have this Observer Ward here for the Radiant, so they know exactly where Dread is. Roshan now sitting at half health. They've got everything available for the side of Yellow Submarine. They've got the wall. They've got the Death Ward. And Yellow Submarine, they're looking content to continue this one. The side of HellRaisers is just looking for the perfect initiation. They've got the IO back.
They can... Oh, the fake Roche play. They're so cheeky, this team. I like it.
Oh, there's your vacuum onto 2. They put on the wall as well. Now with the damage coming onto Artez, can they bring down the Centaur? He did get the Stampede off, and now with the Supernova from just inside the pit, so they can't actually see him. And now with the Death Ward from the side of Yellow Submarine, bringing down Alpha Ninja. They've managed to find 2. It's a 2-for-1 trade so far. Dread to get off the full Supernova. Bringing Barash low. There's the Voodoo Restoration. Is not going to be enough to save the Shadow Fiend. Now Dread, he could be in trouble because PSM, Fervian, and Miposhka closing down on him. It's a 3 for 2 so far. Tiny has brought back, but I don't know what he can do at this point. Now they're going for more. Yes, I mean, no, Afro Ninja's found the toss, and the Avalanche does bring down PSM. And Poshka here hitting onto Gretz. Gretz just sitting on the high ground. And now Afro Ninja's coming back in. Right, Yellow Submarine need to be scared, and they aren't. Poshka looking to TP out. Will just get himself out. I think that's going to be a toss.
Man, this Yellow Submarine team is something else. They go for these really unusual and really like on-the-fly moment plays. Their strategic value is, I mean, it's really next level.
I mean, the question is now, I mean, who is taking this Roshan?
Well, they don't have Tiny buyback and they don't have the egg, so I think they can actually, they need to hover around the area a little bit more.
Indeed, we're going to see HellRaisers just hang around here in the Radiant Jungle, ready to try and block Yellow Submarine off if they come in for this one. There's going to be the TPs from the side of the Radiant coming down to the tier 2. They're ready to try and move back in, and they're ready to fight. We saw their Rubik already with double braces. They're
the
ready
Vanguard, yuck.
You're not a fan?
I mean, Crimson Guard's okay, but they have so much magic damage that I think another item would have been better. I mean, Blink is usually the go-to, and they have a little bit less options to initiate. Oh, that's why he didn't blink in, because he didn't have a blink. That was silly of me. I was wondering why he didn't blink in to initiate.
Gretzy tries to TP out. There's going to be a telekinesis there, and we'll throw out the Nightmare onto Dale. It doesn't matter, though, because PSM with the stolen Brain Sap will be able to bring down Bane there. I mean, this game is great, Malini. It's 16-20, and we're, 19 minutes in, and it certainly could still go either way, this match. I mean,
Roshan's really important here, because they have a very ulti base lineup. I mean, Relocate kind of, but Stampede, Phoenix Egg, and Fiend's Grip all very important in their team fights, and if Yellow Submarine can survive that, I mean, if either team can get it, because both teams are very ulti dependent, so this should be an easy Roche. Phoenix is too late to the party. They need him there right now.
They're going to try something here. They're going to Sunray in. Could this side of Yellow Submarine bring this one down? And now he goes in with a Supernova. Can they see him? Oh, trying to hit him. They do find the punch, but now with the vacuum and the wall drop by Yellow Submarine, they're trying to bring down Artez. Artez is still alive here, and they've actually lost the Shadow Fiend here. They're all getting incredibly low. Artez will drop. It's a dominating kill streak here for Fervin. And now with the death fall from the high ground, it's going to be a double kill as he also brings down Dread on the Phoenix. And now a 3-for-2 trade favoring the side of Yellow Submarine. Yellow Submarine just go to look back and finish this one, but they've actually lost another one. They might lose PSM as well. Yes, they do. It's going to be a double kill for Aya from the high ground, just blowing them all up with his balls. Fervian tries to turn around against Gares, but Gares, he just drops the Fiend's grip. They want to take down this Witch Doctor. It's a very slow and very painful fight, but they do find Fervian. The buybacks are coming out. Are Yellow Submarine going to be able to do anything about HellRaisers taking this Roche? They need to get to themselves to the pit ASAP. We see Rubik making a run for it. I don't think he gets there in time, and he doesn't. HellRaisers claim the Roshan, and it's going to be Aegis on your Io.
Wow, having that T1 tower still up is...
Hello. That's a bit cheeky. There's going to be a little vacuum onto the high ground. How can the side of Yellow Submarine do anything for this? Gretz is just going to TP himself out. Dale is trying to find himself in. Barash has now turned up to the party. Dread could be in a bit of trouble. And with a raise and a fade ball to the backside, they'll lose the Phoenix. Worth noting, of course, with the buyback, he's down for a good minute at this point of the game. Artez has turned up, and Miss Posher's going to find a slow here. There's going to be the Stampede popped now. Alpha Ninja coming in. They're trying to blow up PSM, but he's being kept alive by the mech. He will finally fall, but they've lost Artez to the side of HellRaisers. They might lose more as well because Miposhka and Barash, they're trying to get Alpha Ninja. They want to try and find Goddamn here as well. He's got to relocate in 3, in 2, in 1. He's ready to go. There's going to be a 10-4 though. It doesn't matter. Aegis will be popped. We're going to see Alpha Ninja trying to walk himself back up the lane. They're going to look for round 2 here on Goddamn. Now he tethers. He's got it. Well, no. He's not got the relocate because I think he casted it just before he lost his first life with the Aegis. So this isn't good for HellRaisers. They might lose Alpha Ninja as well. He's got the toss here onto Barash, but it doesn't matter with the Voodoo Restoration. Yellow Submarine, they're standing strong. There's going to be a double kill for Viper. And correct me if I'm wrong there, but I think, yeah, the IO tried to use relocate just as he died, and then he came back without it, and that meant him and Tiny weren't in the greatest positions.
Yeah, I mean, he could have saved it, but I mean, he was under a lot of pressure there. He thought they could fog him. Wow. Yellow Submarine, they're an incredibly resilient team. Like, sometimes they're like down in kills, sometimes they're like not in great positions, but they fight so darn well as a team.
This is crazy. And Goretz just chilling on the tree line here. Yellow Submarine will be able to take this tier 1. And what's he getting? Oh, just some wards out. He's fine. And we're seeing Bane obviously working towards what I imagine to be a good old Glimmer Cape. Has that Shadow Amulet on him at the moment. 23 to 27, but still, the side of HellRaisers, they've got this tiny 9.2k net worth. How's he doing in terms of the old items? He has got that completed Aghanims on top of the Blink Dagger.
What about Centaur?
How's he doing on top of the Vanguard? Yeah, getting close to it. And with Blink Dagger on Centaur, this is going to step up the fighting potential for HellRaisers by a huge amount, and they can certainly look to catch up Yellow Submarine. But at this point, Yellow Submarine, as a side, with the Voodoo Restoration, with the mech, with the fact they've got heroes like the Viper, they're fairly tanky. And there's an Aghanims on Witch Doctor, 22 minutes in.
That godlike streak. Picked up.
I mean, this game's pretty insane. It was, I believe the stat was there so far in qualifiers is the game with the 4th highest kills, and I don't think we're anywhere near an ending at this point, Melini. This game is... We're going to see a few more major clashes. They're trying to push it on the bottom tier 2 at the same time. HellRaisers, they're looking to put a bit of pressure onto the tier 2 in the mid lane, and they will be able to force back some TPs. Alpha Ninja, he throws in the cheeky avalanche now. Blink forward from down, and he'll find the vacuum here onto Tiny. There's going to be a cast bouncing out as well. It won't connect onto the eye. Alpha Ninja simply tosses back the Darkseid. Now Witch Doctor trying to go in. Barash is there as well. Tiny will get the blink out, and looks like he will be able to get himself away here.
That Witch Doctor Ags pickup is huge, though. I don't really think they can expend resources to stun him. Like, Bane is going to be under a lot of pressure because, I mean, maybe once he gets his Shadow Blade, he'll be okay, or Glimmer Cape. And then Centaur, you know, he's usually focused down by the Viper, so he can't blink. And then Tiny's usually the one initiating. So if they can channel that Witch Doctor ult and just, I mean, wombo combo them is the dream.
It is indeed. Let's see what goes on here as we're seeing, well, Goretz maybe seeing if he can spot something out here. Obviously with a Nightmare or Fiend's Grip setup. They do have the relocate available on top of it all. But Barash on his Shadow Fiend, 2.6k gold coming up on top of the Ogre Club. So he's just under about 400 away from his BKB. And against this kind of lineup, BKB is going to be pretty huge in these team fights.
Pipe coming out, or sorry, Hood coming out on Darkseer. We see the Glimmer Cape up on Bane. Glimmer Cape's going to be huge for the Tiny, so he doesn't have to get BKB next. But I mean, he still has to deal with that massive physical damage coming out from Witch Dog, from SF, from Viper, as well as his own illusions.
And we're going to see on the bottom lane the side of HellRaisers they're grouping up. Worth noting as well, Dread's farm at the moment looking very healthy with the fact he did get that early Midas, coming up to 3k on top of the plate mail, so he's closing in on enough money for that Shiva's Guard if that's the item of choice here. Well, of course, with the Tiny and I, they should be able to make short work of this tower. They're going to back themselves off. They're aware that Yellow Submarine might want to do something in reaction, and they certainly do the side of the Radiant. They're all here prepared to fight behind that tier 2. They're missing both the Rubik and the Viper, who are still hanging around here on this top lane. And HellRaisers and Godan, they don't want to fight here at the bottom. They're happy with forcing the TPs, and they just want to look to continue their farm elsewhere. Well,
they have to stick together. Yeah. If they don't, I mean, the relocate is just going to turn a 1v2 into a 3v2. So the way they're playing is very solid. Like, they're not giving HR many opportunities to run away with the game. And that would be either like split pushing them down or just picking them off in packs of 2 or 3. So they're just grouping together as 5. That's where their strength is. They know that. HellRaisers know that. And the push continues.
Yellow Submarine, they've already done a little bit of work on this tier 2 on the bottom lane, but at the same time, HellRaisers, they've already done a little bit of work on the tier 2 on the top lane. Both sides looking to finish off what they've started here. Let's see who forces who back first.
It should be, HR should force Yellow Submarines back, just because Tiny Wisp is stronger as a push, and
Vacuum onto 2. They're going to drop the wall here as well. Down needs a little bit of backup. There's going to be a toss onto the Darkseer, and they'll actually relocate themselves out. Artez on the bottom lane. He's gone in onto Barash and PSM. There's going to be a nightmare in Miposhka. Now with the Fiends grip onto Barash. They're holding 2 in place, and Nafa blinks forward. He's turned up, bringing Barash low, but he pops the BKB now with the Requiem Assault. Barash, he's looking to turn it. He's taken down the Tiny. Dread's going to have to dive away here on the Phoenix. Goret's hiding in the tree line. What a BKB, what a Requiem. And now Miposhka and PSM, they won't quite be able to bring down Dread here for the Supernova as he comes out. They've lost PSM here on the Rubik. Artez trying to TP himself out, and Miposhka, he TPs away as well. They did lose the Shadow Fiend as Bane was able to finish him off with what I can only imagine to be the Brain Sap. But very nice play there from Yellow Submarine in reaction to the jump in from HellRaisers, allowing them to get that kill onto Tiny at the start of the fight.
Man, that Phoenix ult. Yellow Submarine, they saw it immediately, the 2 supports went, and I right-clicked it. And then the last projectile was in the air as it popped.
Very, very close fight there between the 2 sides. But ending 2 for 2, obviously both teams losing a core and a support on top as well. But Darkseer, he's continuing to get very close to his pipe of insight. Dread now has got the finished Shiva's Guard off as well. And obviously we're just seeing the Viper as well. He had about 2.6k gold on top of the point booster. So he's going to have the Aghanim Scepter relatively quickly.
They have to find some way to deal with the Fiend's grip, and I don't know. It's going to be very difficult because they don't have like a Shiva's or Blink Daggers on. I mean, Darkseer can use Blink Vacuum, but you don't want to do that to search for a Glimmer Caped Bane Elemental. And at the same time, you can't let your Shadow Fiend get Fiend's grip for 5 seconds. But now with Pipe, with Mech, with BKB, maybe he can survive that. So next Roche should be respawning pretty soon, and I mean, HellRaisers. I mean, both teams have really good teamfight around the Roche.
I mean, Alpha Ninja, he's just 1k away of a recipe of the Assault Cuirass, so we're going to see both sides having some very scary items on board for the next potential team
AC
fight.
is a double-edged sword here because he's going to get it
with the illusions. Yeah.
So I don't know. I think some players would prefer a BKB just because it's a much safer item, but if you're confident that you're not going to get hit by the wall or that the illusions are going to die very quickly, then I think AC is a good choice, or if you're going to be farming, split pushing, pushing towers down. But there is a chance for it to turn back on. I guess it just negates itself, but you don't want to waste $5 plus gold on an item that can be used against yourself.
That's true. I mean, we'll see how careful Alpha Ninja plays in the next team fight, making sure not to get himself caught out by that wall. Bane will be able to deny the tower there from the side of Yellow Submarine on the bottom. But still here, they're going to have to do something about this because HellRaisers, with the Tiny Eye, they're trying to force some kind of reaction from Yellow Submarine. And they will get Dale himself back here on the Darkseer.
Yeah, their 5-man strat doesn't work anymore just because their pushing is so incredibly weak. And if they TP one at a time, if they see one TP, then they'll immediately relocate and pick off the other 4. So they have to back off together as a team, and because of that, they get extra damage on the tower.
Oh, the double back here with the smoke. They'll be able to catch out Artez. He is going to be Glimmer Caped, and he's going to try and ward this one off. Does get the Hoot Stomp off to cancel the Death Ward, and very nicely done there from Artez, surviving a 4-man smoke.
Man, that Glimmer Cape. That item is so incredibly good. I would be highly surprised if it wasn't nerfed in the next upcoming versions. But enough of that.
Oh, Dale. Goretz is going to be able to get himself close and personal here for the Phoenix group. Dale is in a lot of trouble. They're going to drop the Supernova here as well in case there's any reaction from Yellow Submarine. Now we're going to see Brash. He just pops the BKB. They're trying to bring down Goretz, but they are going to get caught by the stun here from Dread. And now the pipe has come out from Yellow Submarine, and that's going to take them quite a lot here for the video restoration as well. But at the same time, look at this. HellRaisers, they're just ripping them apart. They're forcing the fight in the mid lane, and they're also pushing down on the top lane. They've taken down the tier 3. The side of HellRaisers, they did lose the Phoenix. They've been Avalanche thrown out, and now the relocate out from Io will be able to save the Tiny. It looks like Goddamn's probably going to go back to his death here. I don't think they bring the Tiny back into this one. And has he got the Glimmer Cape? He has got the Glimmer Cape in 1 second. And then pop down a sentry, and yeah, there's there's none amount of glimmering.
I think it's definitely worth it for HellRaisers. They will get a T3 as well as some damage on the range racks in exchange for your Phoenix and your Io. The thing is,
Pierce, where's he relocating here? The relocate D ward, nicely done. Oh.
Is it nice?
I don't think that
nice
was
idea.
nice. Yeah, it was a nice idea.
Nice
it was
idea.
a cute play.
The thing is, Yellow Submarine can't venture to the other side of the map anymore, which is a big problem because they've been winning most of the 5-man engagements, but if they can't get in a position of 5-man, they're going to be forced to farm inside their base. Tiny outskills Yellow Submarine's heroes as well as the Big Bad Roshan, which is going to be HellRaiser's big prize come a few minutes of pressure. So Yellow Submarines needs to pull something out of the hat right now to get like a pick on 1 or 2 and then sweep in a Roche and then push out the lanes. Or they need to be able to kill the Tiny Wisp as they're pushing one of the lanes, but I don't know. Again, their like solo and duo skirmish potential is not that high.
It seems like Yellow Submarine are struggling a lot more than they were earlier on now. And well, Shadowfiend with the Invis Rune is just going to simply check out Roche, but as we saw just then, it's very close to being up just less than half a minute now at this point. Brash, he's questioning about going for a solo kill, but there is indeed a sentry here from the side of HellRaisers, and Goretz will be able to take down the Radiant one here, and I did not.
HellRaisers have a timeline right now. The Tiny and the Wisp are pushing the top lane, and it's a exposed racks, so they have to defend it. And if they do defend it, HellRaisers just TPs and takes a Roche. So I'm very curious to see what they're going to do in the next 30 seconds, because if they don't do something clever, Roshan's going to go the way of HellRaisers. BKB popped.
Interesting. Actually, sorry, on the courier for HellRaisers, was that a point booster coming out for the Io? It is. So just a casual point booster to help the Io tank up.
What else can you build point booster into? Octarine, not the item. Scotty, I suppose. I mean, yeah, I guess HP.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, maybe they feel that they are going to end the game soon, and having a point booster for this next engagement could be all that the Io needs to have that extra little boost here. But I mean, yeah, the Tiny Io combo is looking incredibly scary. I mean, Tiny's had a fantastic game. 16 kills, 8 assists, and just 6 deaths at the moment, 32 minutes in. But Yellow Submarine, you know, they have got the wombo combo.
Oh.
Ooh.
This is a very dangerous place for Bane. Yes, Yellow Submarine wants to take control of this area so they can do Roche, but HellRaisers doesn't really want to take a fight that they may not win.
Straight the Fiend's grip onto Miposhka. There's going to be a Supernova as well. There'll be a Death Ward from the high ground. Very nice. You look at the damage he's doing here with the Aghanim Scepter. Suddenly, double kill. It might be a triple kill. No, Drip will be able to Icarus dive away, but incredibly nice Death Ward there from Fervian. And you can never underestimate the damage that Aghanim Death Ward
does. Tiny? They relocated, but I don't think Tiny got latched there in that fight. I didn't see him at all.
I mean, off the back of this, I mean, this is a big enough window for Yellow Submarine to take Roshan.
That was a bad place for HellRaisers to go. I don't know why they ventured down the hill. All they needed to do was push with Tiny Whips until someone has the back, and then they just 5-man Roshan. And then they fight a 5-on-4 with Phoenix Egg on the high ground. That's a pretty easy win for a fight. But at the end of the day, Yellow Submarine splitting their heroes very well. 4 heroes. Their Dark Seer was there to follow up if there were. Again, I don't think that fight should have gone too badly for HellRaisers. I think 2 things happened. Firstly, trying to fight into the high ground. Oh no.
Fire straight away onto Goddamn. Can they bring down the Eye? Yes, they can. That's going to be a mega kill streak here for Miposhka. Pipe's being popped by Yellow Submarine. They're looking for Dread as well. He's going to be able to Icarus dive himself away. But Yellow Submarine just scaring the side of HellRaisers away from the pit. And now, after defending that top lane, Fervi and Barash come in, and they know that there's no chance of any kind of ratting going on because the Io's dead. And this is going to be the perfect opportunity for Yellow Submarine to look to finish off Roshan.
Perfect. Exactly what they wanted. A good fight at Roche, defend their racks, kill a couple of heroes.
Very nice indeed. Aegis now on Barash. HellRaisers, they do have the BKB completed onto Tiny now, so I don't know, if a fight kicks off, HellRaisers are going to, I feel like it's going to be hard for Yellow Submarine to take a straight 5-on-5 if HellRaisers get a good initiation.
Oh, it depends. I think mostly on the Witch Doctor ward.
Yes.
That thing just destroyed them last fight. They can't fight in a heavily obscured place like they just fought. Look at Yellow Submarine's wards. They have 3 Observer wards around the Roche, and HellRaisers made the folly of fighting there without the vision advantage. And they had no way to cancel the Witch Doctor ultimate.
I guess going to see on the top lane, in fact, the side of Yellow Submarine, they're coming out. Maybe seeing if they can find someone here. There's a Tiny and an Artez hiding in the sidelines. Tiny's going to jump straight in. There's going to be a vacuum coming out from Yellow Submarine. And now with the pipe, they're trying to fight back into this. Wall's being dropped. There's a BKB and a Stampede trying to get him out. But here we've got PSM with a cheeky little toss back onto the Tiny. They're going to try and chase down Alpha Ninja. Where is your Io? Io at the moment, he is coming in here on the left. No, there's going to be the Glimmer Cape indeed popped by him. He's actually relocated out here. Did he try and tether and relocate and it didn't work out? Perhaps because the Tiny's dead. Io's going to come back into this one, and I don't think there's anywhere for him to run. No, the Death Ward stays out. It's going to be a double kill for Miposhka. And I guess did the Io try and relocate the Tiny out, but the Tether wasn't there?
He ran southeast, whereas Io was to the northwest. Does Rubik have any items? He just completely outplayed him there. Look at his items. He doesn't even have a Blink Dagger.
He's got it now, though.
He tossed away the BKB Tiny, and then they immediately surged him afterwards, so he couldn't catch up. Like, usually with BKB Tiny, you're guaranteed a kill, but they Viper Striked him, immediately countered by a Stampede into the toss back from the Rubik. Man, they're making so many plays.
Oh, Goretz is going to be able to blink himself away here. Was going for a bit of a cheeky push. But indeed, now, as we're saying, Rubik spends his money. He's got a Blink Dagger. Talking about spending money, I believe Miposhka had a lot on the Viper just now. 3.8k gold. I guess deciding what the next best item is to go for. Centaur Warren himself, he's got 3.3k as well with a Bit Booster. I guess he's going to look to finish off the heart at this point.
On Viper?
On the Centaur.
Oh, Centaur?
Yeah.
I suppose so. I'm curious as to what the Viper's going to go. I wonder if they're going to get like a Lotus Orb or something for the Fiend's Grip.
Well, that would be fun.
Yeah. Does that work on Fiend's Grip? Probably. I
want to say yes. Yeah, it's a single target. I guess, wouldn't it? I don't know. We'll find out sometime on another day. Artez is getting caught out here now. We'll be able to get the Stampede out. There's going to be a Viper Strike and a cast coming out. Now with the Death Ward, you can't TP out of this, my son. Wall gets dropped as well. He will fall. And Io. Oh, poor old goddamn. Is there any way? He's going to be able to try and tether up to the high ground here. But Dale, he's ready and waiting. He's brought Goretz in as well. Goddamn will fall. The cast bounces forward. And now PSM blinking towards the high ground. They'll get Goretz also. And I don't think the Bane's going to be too happy that the Eye dragged him back into that one.
Sick plays from the Yellow Submarine.
Yeah.
They're pressuring them all around, and now finally they can actually push out their lanes without the threat of the Tiny Wisp because of that blunder on the left side as well as the blunder at Roche. So I would say, again, they've presented HR with so many difficult decisions that they're bound to mess up at some point unless they play a perfect game. But they're making blunder after blunder. You know, a couple of failed relocates, not bringing Tiny, not being able to relocate someone out, even with the Aegis play on the bottom lane, relocating before his Aegis expired. And HellRaisers was kind of this Tiny Wisp is falling flat at this point. It's still Tiny Wisp though. You always have a chance with Tiny Wisp.
Yeah, absolutely. There's always that kind of imminent threat of the combination. Shiva's Guard now finished though by Dale, and I mean, at this point, do you feel like Yellow Submarine are, are they strong enough to try and push the high ground after these tier 2s and go for the base, or are they still waiting for something?
If their lanes are pushed out, then yes, but if not, then they can't. I mean, and Tiny is just wreaking havoc on all their towers. We see Phoenix pushing in the mid lane, and they can try, but I think that HR will be more than happy to base race.
I was going to say, do HR back up for this one, or do they just try and go for the aggressive?
I think they go for it. They don't have the Tiny, or they don't have the Wisp for this one, but I don't know. They're fighting to the Aegis. This is a very difficult play for them. And Tiny, we can see still on the bottom lane. Viper will TP back.
And got the Viper Strike here, trying to scare away Alpha Ninja. And indeed, he's on his own. We'll have to pop the BKB and TP out. Now, top lane, Barash. He's on the high ground. He's been in field, but there's going to be the TP coming in from Phoenix. And, Yellow Submarine
they want to take this fight. It's a 4v5. And they have the Aegis, but I don't know if that's going to be enough. We'll see.
Oh, Fervin trying to position himself very nicely. He does get the Death Ward out. There's going to be a supernova here from the sidelines. It looks like it will be successful. Afanin's getting bought low. There's going to be a BKB pop from Barash. And now with the wall drop, the Tiny Illusion comes out. Tiny's gone down. He does buy back straight away. Witch Doctor getting low. Fervin been taken out by the Sunray, but he's got the Voodoo Restoration keeping him alive. There's going to be a Nightmare to PSM. Artez trying to get himself in close in person with a Who Stomp. Goretz Glimmer Capes up for the Enfeeble again onto Barash. And now, well, Afanin tosses for. God damn now with the Icarus Dive. Dread trying to catch out Yellow Submarine. Can HellRaisers find anything? Blinking pushing forward here. They do find the avalanche onto 2, but Brash, he's still ready to fight here. Artez, he's going to miss his blink Who Stomp, and well, Brash simply TP's out. Dale here with the vacuum and looking for the cheeky plays. He's got a surge here in a second. Double Edge will come through. This Darkseer is fairly tanky. They'll put toss forward. Can they bring down Dale? They will do indeed, finally being able to bring down the Darkseer. But it takes HellRaisers a lot to do that and to stop Yellow Submarine. And Yellow Submarine, they do get the Shadow Fiend out and they don't lose the Viper or the Rubik.
That was still a full channeled Death Ward. I think they need... Is he close to BKB?
I think the Witch Doctor is, yeah.
Okay, yeah. Well, now they have BKB. I don't really know how they can counter it. I guess Fiend's Grip, but you don't really want to waste their Fiend's Grip. I think it's the right play, though.
I guess the one thing the Witch Doctor has got to be careful about is obviously dropping it down when there's a supernova. You know, obviously to worry about the stun at the end.
It still takes a long time.
It does, yeah.
He just channeled. He's like, I'm going to get supernova, but I'm going to kill the Tiny before I die.
And obviously, yeah, worth noting, of course, Alpha Ninja did indeid, as you're saying, buy back in that fight as well. But still, I don't know. It's 36-32 on the board at the moment, coming up to 40 minutes in. If we actually have a look at the net worth graph at the moment, there's up and down, up and down. HellRaisers, they did manage to get, well, not really a sizable lead. It was only 6k, which isn't a massive lead. So all in all, this entire game being fairly balanced between the sides. And now we're just seeing a definite kind of turn back towards the favor of Yellow Submarine. And well, there's a scythe now picked up onto this Phoenix. And with BKB's running out, I'd imagine a little low. How's the Shadow Fiend's BKB looking at the moment in terms of duration? Let's check it out. It is down to 6 seconds. So I don't know, Ben, what's your thoughts on the game at this point?
I think generally HellRaisers would be in a better position simply because they have Wiz Tiny, and if you make one big mistake, you lose like 2 sets of racks. But because Tiny doesn't have his buyback anymore, and because they don't have Roshan control at this point, then it's still very up in the air. Normally, I'd give HellRaisers a slight edge in this particular scenario, but there was, I mean, there's nice movements all around, and the Witch Doctor is a little bit over-farmed at this point with BKB and ult.
Oh, that's pretty crazy.
I guess they can toss him as well.
I think interesting note, Viper as well, with that recent influx of gold that he was on, he did decide to go for the AC himself, in fact, on the Viper to counteract the Tinies. And ooh,
it's a good item.
Oh, cheeky little blink. He's going to be fine. He's going to be okay. They're still smoked up, everyone bar the Shadow Fiend. Roshan, we don't quite know when it's up yet. We're still waiting for the timer to be revealed. Just under a minute. Yellow Submarine, they're going to look towards the mid lane here. Maybe they can find some of this surge PSM forward. He's going to try and close the gap in and blinks forward. All but the blink away just in time from Bane. And Dread as well on the Phoenix. Will Icarus dive himself away from the jungle? So it looks like Yellow Submarine won't be able to catch anyone out here. But they're just going to form up in the mid lane and maybe look to try and push this one up to the high ground. And the question is, do they go for this? And well, it looks like they certainly are, but at the same time, again, Ben, the threat of the Tiny Eye means that, I mean, the fortification will come out from HellRaisers, but, I mean, the side of Yellow Submarine, they're losing their racks here. They do have the fortification. It will come out now for the side, and they have TP'd back. Nightmare is going to be dropped onto the Viper, but they lose off their racks here on the top lane, and well, mid lane, the side of HellRaisers, they want to fight, going straight onto Brash. He's trying to turn this one around here with the BKB, and now with the Requiem Assaults coming out, hitting them all. He's being brought low, he's getting slapped down by Alpha Ninja, but now with the Viper Strike onto the Tiny. Oh, we saw Shadow Fiend try to stun his Goretz, but there's a Supernova coming out as well. Miposhka, he's in a lot of trouble. He's been left alone. He's trying to run around this one. PSM is there with a little bit of backup, but the Nightmare is trying to look to drop it here onto the Viper. Shiva's Guard comes out. PSM's in an awful lot of trouble as well as Artez finds the Who Stomp double edge onto the Rubik. Viper's incredibly tanky. It's a big job to bring him down, but they do finally do it. They take down the Rubik as well. And Yellow Submarine, they're getting ripped apart little by little here. They try to put on the pressure in the mid lane, but again, it's this Tiny IO. I mean, what do you do when you're playing against a Tiny IO at this stage of the game? How do you outpush them and outplay them?
You get gems so they don't have wards, so they can't split push, and then you try and gank them. And if you kill the Wisp, that's fine. And Tiny didn't have buyback, so he's of very high priority. And it should be coming up pretty soon, but now Roshan's going to respawn. And they can't give up Roshan, and they can't give up a Rax. Just because, you know, when it's 1 Rax to 1 Rax, I still say HR has an even bigger advantage just because you're that much closer to Mega Creeps, and Tiny just does it so much quicker than Yellow Submarine's lineup that you want to save as many racks and towers as possible. They also glyphed a little bit late. I think they could have glyphed with the range racks and made them think a little bit more, but they glyphed when the range rack was already down, and that's easy for HR to say, okay, well, we're just going to peace out. And they saw 2 heroes TP as well, and no one hero is strong enough to take out those 2. So when they TP 2 back, it's just an easy 3-on-5 situation, similar to on top where it was a 5-on-4 situation. So HellRaisers trying to spread Yellow Submarine thin, and Yellow Submarine, they have to push out lanes, they have to gank and kill these heroes that are the pusher threats.
Roshan is going to be up in less than a minute now. This is going to be the potential for the next big fight between these sides. Goretz is smoked up and was just seeing if they could finally jump onto Yellow Submarine, keeping themselves here in their own Radiant jungle. And now with the boost of travel on the Shadow Fiend, he'll be able to help out a little bit more in terms of dealing with this split pushing action from Tiny Iron. Might need to be careful here at the moment because we're seeing Barash. He's coming out that top. There's a Tiny Iron, and in fact, Radiant jungle nearly being able to catch out Goretz here. Goretz needs to be careful here. Dale's going to pop the Shiva's guard, but Goretz with the Glimmer Cape, he should be alright for the time being. They've got the gem. Who's the gem on the side of Yellow Submarine at the moment? It's on the... There isn't. No, it's just a gem on Goretz.
They really need a gem. They need to kill these wards ASAP because HR just having free reign on their side of the map where the edge they shouldn't be. They should always be in constant fear of getting cast into some combo or Rubik lifting someone into like a Requiem, and that fear is just not in HellRaisers right now. They're still pushing out very aggressively. Bane is on the opposite side of the map with a gem, and he's also able to plant some very deep wards so that they can control Roshan.
Oh, mid lane, we're going to see the side of Yellow Submarine trying going on to Dread. He's got to dive in a second, and here we go, up to the high ground cast. Will follow through, bringing him low here with the poison damage, but it's not quite enough. Dale's trying to get himself in, but he backs himself out. He doesn't want to commit, and Dread will be able to get himself only just out of that situation.
Ooh, the butterfly.
Okay.
That's really good for base racing.
Oh, goddamn. Okay, there's your answer. He's going for the Bloodstone here.
Cool. Haven't seen that before.
No, I mean, but what was the stat there? The 12th IO of all time. Of all time. That's pretty impressive. That is if he gets there. He's still got a little bit of a way to go. But I guess we could see some clutch potential in the team fight, obviously with the Bloodstone Suicide and big heals going out, of course, to the Tiny and the team.
So they're looking for a pick-off on top lane. They're trying to push it out, but they have wards in mid as well as bottom to see if anyone is pushing out the lanes. And if they're not there, they're most likely top end, or they're smoked, and then Tiny and Whisk can back off. So once they deward these wards with the Rubik gem, then they can go for a similar play.
Okay, Roshan is, of course, up now. The question is, which side wants to start to look for it first? I mean, at this point, who's going to be looking to take Roshan? Who's going to feel more confident going straight to the pit? HR.
Because they have the ability to push out the lanes, whereas Yes can't really push out the lanes. Because of, again, the Blink Stomp or Glimmer Cape or Blink into a Fiend's Grip, they can't be out alone. And if they go as two, then that's even worse for Yellow Submarine going into a team fight. So they have to be very careful about how and when they show their heroes and how to push out these lanes. And you can see Viper's alone and he can't venture outside of his base.
Bottom lane here, we've got the Nightmare onto Barash. Now Goretz, Glimmer Cape, so goes in with the Fiend's Grip. Now with the relocate from Alpha Ninja, got down trying to go in, but the vacuum and the wall has been dropped. Barash, he's able to get off the Requiem. He's going to be able to live through this one with the BKB in the pipe. Vince, they just turn their attention towards Goddamn. He tries to head into the trees. Alpha Ninja's gone down here to the Death Ward. They've lost the IO as well, the head side of HellRaisers, and Goretz will be able to blink and TP himself out from the tree line. But very nice reaction from the side of Yellow Submarine there, bringing Tiny down for a good 100 seconds. He does have buyback, but that was not great for HellRaisers.
I don't know why HellRaisers made that play, because the Yellow Submarine just dewarded the mid ward as well as the bottom ward, and you know that one of the supports has a gem and is moving into that area, and then they only see one hero on the top lane, so all four heroes are probably on the bottom side of the map, or three heroes sitting behind the Shadow Fiend, and they just fell for that trap.
Oh, Goretz, he wants to go for these Glimmer Cape plays, but on the other side of Yellow Submarine, they're just going to find him. Can they bring down the Bane here? Looks like they can indeed.
Looks like I don't know if they didn't realize that he had a gem, but the gem pickup was so incredibly crucial.
Absolutely, and off the back of that, Yellow Submarine, they're going to be able to get Roshan here. Aegis and Cheese. Aegis the way of Shadow Fiend, and Cheese goes to the Viper there. They're popping the Courier. Who's got the Cheese? It is indeed the Viper. So now with the Aegis and Cheese, I guess Yellow Submarine, they could look for a push and almost certainly try and force out the buybacks from HellRaisers here.
Yeah, it's looking really bad for the Tiny. Second buyback for him, and his net worth isn't going to be quite on top of the Shadow Fiend as he would like it to be.
Oh, here we go. Rubik tossing forward Barash here onto Artez. Artez will put the Stampede there, but the telekinesis holding back. And look at the damage being done here. There will be a defensive relocate out the cask. Flying through. Oh, and the coconuts will indeed bounce. And well, this is going to give the side of Yellow Submarine space to get the tier 3. They might even be able to find the racks here as well. There's a fortification available for HellRaisers. Still 18 seconds before Tiny's back. They really want to try and save this buyback on Tiny. But on doing so, they might lose a full set of racks here on the bottom lane. We're going to see the melee racks fall here on the side of HellRaisers. They'll lose the range racks as well, almost certainly, as Dale goes in with the punches. And Yellow Submarine, they're looking to take a second set of racks here. They will have the Tiny back up and they will have the Bane up. Let's see what HellRaisers can do in an attempt to stop stop this. They haven't got the Stampede though. Viper Strike's going to be dropped down onto Centaur Warren, whereas the side of Yellow Submarine, they've still got Wall, they've still got the Death Ward as well, and that's going to be a second lane of melee rats go down in the mid lane. Dread trying to cross dive in, Pipe's being blocked. Now Alpha Ninja going straight in here onto Fervian and PSM. There's the Fiend's Grip onto Fervian. Oh, there's the Requiem of Souls, and now with the wall drop from the side of Yellow Submarine, they're trying to find him with this Death Ward comes out. Look at it go! Everybody's dying. Red's trying to get out with the Glimmer Cave. It doesn't matter. They've got a gem. They'll take him down as well. 4 heroes to fall on the side of HellRaisers. The mid-racks will be cleaned up. There'll be buybacks coming out from the Centaur, the Bane, the Tiny, Yellow Submarine. They buy back on the PSM Ruby. They want to get him back in here as well for round 2. Alpha Ninja standing on the sideline, trying to get into the fight. Artes blinks forward, finding who's come on to 2. Dread and Artes, they could be in trouble. Can they do anything here? No, Dread's just going to melt. No, he just get off the Supernova. Now they're going to aim for the Sun. Alpha Ninja's with the toss there to hold back the side of the Yellow Submarine. It doesn't matter. Dread still goes down on the Phoenix. Viper Strike dropped onto the Tiny. They go to turn and turn to look onto Artes as well. Artes will simply TP out. Alpha Ninja, the Glimmer Cape will not save you at this point. He's dead for 110 seconds. Cannot bite back into this fight. There will be a pause. GG, well played is called by the side of HellRaisers. And what a match, Malini.
Was that a Rage DC? What is going on there? HellRaisers definitely had this one in the bag.
Yeah.
I think if you could choose...
Look at that.
Yeah, if you could choose which side to be on at 40 minutes in the game, you would definitely choose HellRaisers. And they
what went wrong at the end?
Well, they first the relocate without the Tiny.
Yeah.
And then they like went uphill on the Roche pit without vision, and then they got owned because of the Death Ward. Like even the last fight, they Fiend's gripped the Witch Doctor, and they still couldn't kill him. And then he just channeled Death Ward afterwards.
Yeah, he did indeed.
So
it was just